Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Spiny Rambles. I just woke up. I took a went to for a 30-minute nap that turned into a 2.5 hour long nap. But you know what? That's enough of me going on about my horrible sleep schedule. Let's talk about movies. So anyone who is aware of Hall of Victories, this is kind of a ranking every Hall of Victories movie video. But I called it something different to deceive you. Because it makes a lot more sense if this is just a Hall of Victories ranking, because it's like, oh, watching him ranking 100 bad movies is such a broad topic, but it also is recognizable to the average person. Where Hall of Victories, I would like it to be recognizable. I'm going to post the link to the playlist to that podcast in the description because me and Matt have been doing it for 4 years now. We just did our 4th year anniversary episode, and people are going to fucking message me on Discord when I don't have headphones in. And yeah, it wouldn't it be funny if it was Matt who did that? It was, no, it was Mitzi. Um, the Yeah, we just put two bad movies up against each other, or movies with the reputation of being bad. Because actually, I think some of the movies we've talked about on Hall of Victories are good, or at least not that bad. And I think for this video, it'd be more interesting because it's a Hall of Victories ranking to go from the best one to the worst one. So we're gonna end on the worst one. So if you want to see the competition, like what movies are even like in this ranking we're about to do, click on that link in the description. Maybe consider checking the show out. But even if you just want to look at the names of each of the movies being covered here, well, there you go too. In fact, you know what? I'll link my letterbox too. There's a list there of all the movies, and they are ranked. I'm going off of that. I'd say for something like this, top 20 and bottom 20 are really the only ones that like have a clear ranking. Because a lot of these really just end up being thrown in the middle, where it's like, yeah, I guess this is there. I guess this is there. The ranking, when you rank this many, I think it becomes a little hard, especially when so much time passes. Because some of these movies got their position 4 years ago, and some of them got their position like last week. So it's always a little tricky knowing where everything should go. And sometimes you look back at a list and you're like, well, shit, why is this so high or why is this so low? And I will probably witness that happen in real time today where I'm like, why the fuck is this high up here? I do kind of do this ranking based on personal subjective enjoyment. And I think in a lot of cases that it's because I think there's some objective quality to it. I guess everything's objective to some point though. And yeah, so some of the movies that are at the top of the list are pretty bad, but they're funny bad or entertaining or interesting. And then some of the movies that do their job perfectly fine are towards the bottom because it's a type of movie that there's no way in hell I could ever enjoy. We've covered stuff on the show that we do so many different themes that inevitably we've covered stuff on the show that I wasn't gonna like one way or the other. But yeah, I'm gonna just go through these movies. I thought about inviting Matt on for this one, but I'm talking about 100 fucking movies. That's already gonna be long enough. And some of these are gonna actually get a little discussion, and some of them I'm gonna fucking glance right past because it's 100, and 100's a lot. If I spend a minute on every single one of them, I've got more than an hour left of this, and I don't want to talk for more than an hour. So let's begin. Alrighty. We're starting off with Zardoz, my favorite movie we've ever talked about on that show. It was paired up with Barbarella. And I think it's really interesting. I think that there's no denying that there's kind of a level of bullshit to the film. Again, these are movies with a bad reputation. Not all of them are necessarily bad movies. A lot of these movies do have defenders, and I'm a defender of Zardoz. Again, can't act like the entire thing is brilliant and there's meaning to all of it because even the director has come out and said he probably didn't know exactly what he was doing while making it and that he was drugged off of his ass throughout a lot of it. But I still think it manages to create some like really amazing cinematography, and I think there is a like meaning behind it, but it's more like emotion driven than logic driven. I think that there's a lot of movies that I like that kind of feel like that to me, where if you're trying to pinpoint a single point or theme to the film, sometimes it's not easy. I just watched Little Murders for our like little group movie night. Matt picked that one. Matt shows me some good movies. I love Little Murders. I love Zardoz. And both of them are movies where I can't really tell you exactly what they're about because I feel like it's hard to, for me at least, it's hard to pinpoint a single theme for them. But I'm vibing with it. I'm feeling something from it. I'm getting something out of it. There's substance to it. It's not just, oh, I like it because it's weird. Oh, I like it because it's like kind of trippy in some scenes. There's some really cool looking scenes in Zardoz though. It's been referenced by some pretty popular shows. Rick and Morty has done a reference to it. Venture Bros has done some stuff with it. I think Community has done some stuff with it. It's a good movie that I would actually recommend. Very bizarre, very strange movie. Love the ending. Love like the fucking mirror scenes, Hall of Mirror scenes. Those are really intense. There's just a lot to really appreciate about it. I like Zardoz a lot. It's one that was put on this that was covered on the show that I would not call a bad movie at all. Second place is The Book of Henry, which is kind of the opposite. I think it's a terrible movie, but it's really entertaining, really funny. There is a scene or two that I think kind of actually does kind of pull off what it's going for. But it has a really silly premise that it's kind of demanding you take seriously, and it just does a really poor job at it. I think it's a really goofy and silly movie, but it's very entertaining. And I like it a lot. To me, it is. For the longest time, it had like the crown. It was like the crowned movie as best Hall of Victories movie for me. But Zardoz definitely surpassed it. Number 3, we have. Actually, I'm just going to do 3 and 4 together. Number 3, it's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. And number 4 is The Cat in the Hat, the live action ones. I understand that there are some people who really, really hate these ones. I think The Cat in the Hat more so than The Grinch. The Grinch, I think, just extends something that doesn't need to be extended, and while I do think Jim Carrey does a good job acting with all of that makeup on, I think that maybe they needed to allow him to tone it down at points. It kind of feels like the movie doesn't want him to have an emotional or sincere moment without a joke or really goofy, over-the-top scene being thrown in, and I think that's like the biggest thing it's missing. I think that movie needs a little bit more heart to it, but I enjoy a lot of the set design. Of course, Sadie's going to start going off now. I enjoy a lot of the set design. I enjoy the Who's look are horrifying. That I don't enjoy. But I mean, I enjoy the overall. It just feels like a movie that had a lot of effort put into it. I just think there's some things they need to tone down. Otherwise, it would have been great. But people still like this movie to this day. It has a song that, a popular Christmas song that originates from this film. It's definitely doing a lot right. Cat in the Hat is by all means a terrible adaptation, but I mean, I've actually talked about this movie in great detail. There was even an old episode of a podcast Cass and Olivia did where we had to like name movies that we like that everybody else hates, and Cat in the Hat was one of mine. And it's funny because it was kind of universal there, because I'm not the only one who feels that way. Matt feels that way too. Mitzi feels that way. It's a funny movie. It's just obviously when you're adapting like a Dr. Seuss character, it's not what you think. And I gotta give it that, because I gotta give people that, because no, it's a terrible adaptation. It's a terrible adaptation. The comparison that Matt made that I've tried making to anyone else whenever I bring it up to them, because I've actually met a lot of people who like this movie. I've talked to a lot of people who said, oh yeah, no, I thought the movie was funny. Is if it was like what Austin Powers was to James Bond, if they just kind of made this into a Mary Poppins parody film without the Cat in the Hat being involved. I think people would have been more into it, but because it's adapting, this beloved character from children's books and turning his hat into an erection joke, I get it. I get why people hate it, but I just think every time I watch it, enjoy it. It's enjoyable to me. It's fun. It's really chaotic. The cat is like a horror. The thing is, the cat is a horrible person. The cat is like this fucking demon that anything that's fun to him, he can make happen. Mac and Me is 5th place. That movie is fucking hilarious. It is a great bad movie. The ending keeps trying to out ridiculous itself. You'll hit a point, like, because the ending of this movie is fucking ridiculous, and you'll hit like 3 points if you've never seen this movie, where you'll think, oh, that's the scene I was talking about. That's the part. That's like the really crazy part, and then it will get weirder. I love Mac and Me. Very funny movie. Sixth place we have Barbarella, bringing that one up again. That went up against Zardoz. And what an unfortunate pair for that one, because like by all means, Barbarella is like so high up out of these 100 movies, you'd think it'd win its episode, but no, that was just a really fucking fun episode to do. Barbarella's got a lot of personality. It's a very weird, overly sexualized film, but it's really like it's fun in how over the top it is. Sometimes over the top isn't a good thing. Barbarella is what it needs to be. I've even heard there's like potential of a remake being done, like with Edgar Wright involved, maybe. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like Barbarella is very much a time and place movie. I don't think we really need to bring it back, but I will definitely check it out if it's done because it's at least interesting. The idea of someone doing that. Tank Girl is number 7. I don't think this is a bad. This is another one where I don't even think it's bad. Barbarella and Macamee, I think, are kind of like bad in the sense that they're just like really silly movies where Macamee more so than Barbarella. Barbarella at least feels a lot more self-aware, where Macamee feels like it was trying to be a wholesome movie like E.T. and just went fucking nuts with it. Tank Girl's just kind of a comic book movie that, it's definitely not one of the best ones out there, but I mean, and it's got some weird editing choices and some scenes that I don't care for, but as a whole, like, I mean, I was entertained by it. I was interested in it. I thought Tank Girl was a good main character. The 2D animated scenes were really cool to see. I enjoy it. I think it's a good one. It's a really early episode of Hall of Victory, so it's been about 4 years since I've seen it. But yeah, I think that one's good. Serenity, that went up against Book of Henry. It's so bad. It's so bad it's good. It's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous movie. It's got a really ridiculous twist. But I recommend it because it's funny. Glenn or Glenda is an interesting one. Very old movie, directed by Ed Wood. And we actually did an Out of the Ring movie episode. That's a podcast where we talk about like good movies associated with these bad movies, and we covered Ed Wood, which goes into the making of Glenn or Glenda. And yeah, I love Ed Wood, and Glenn or Glenda is a very interesting movie to watch. I think it's almost more interesting as like a historical period piece than it is like just a movie itself. It is a very repetitive movie. It's one that I hesitate to call genuinely great, but I kind of want to call it genuinely good because it's just so sincere, and it's like, it's weird. It's weird seeing it, like, it's weird having them talk about a sex change the way they are in a movie this old. It's very interesting. It feels like nothing else like it probably existed at the time. So it's interesting for that. I do like it. Number 10 is Batman and Robin. First pair up we ever did was Batman and Robin versus Catwoman. Batman and Robin is just a funny, bad movie. It is bad, but it's funny. Plenty of people have covered this one. There's so many fucking famous reviews of it. Like Nostalgia Critic did it. A lot of people did it. And I mean, I enjoy it in terms of, again, so bad it's good. But I will say, genuinely, there's some good set design in the movie. Star Crash just feels like such a is number 11. Just feels like such a home movie, a home movie vibe to it. There's literally scenes where they're using toys to create these big space battle scenes, but honestly, through that and like the lighting and the stuff they built for the movie, I just think it's like so full of charm. It is definitely a bad movie, like so bad it's good, but I don't even want to. I'm actually hesitant to call it so bad it's good because I just appreciate the way it was made so much. It's very charming. Number 12, we have Space Jam, which I'm pretty sure was paired up with Back in Action. Space Jam is, you either love it or you hate it. It's such a product of its time, but I personally love it. I loved it when I was a kid. I love it now. It's very laughable. It is bad, but it's also brilliant at the same time. Number 13, we have 8 Crazy Nights. Talked about this movie over the years a lot. I even got Seth Kearsley, the director, I commissioned him to draw Spiny once. And he did a great job. I loved his art. His art style actually complemented Spiny well. The movie looks great. And yeah, I enjoy this movie kind of unironically, but I can see why it's like so hated by so many people. But but I kind of get that the point of like the true ugliness of its like nature of how nasty it is and how gross it is kind of there to play in line with like Davy's growth. You know, it becomes a little bit more nicer at the end. It becomes a little bit more wholesome at the end. And it's because it's about trying to find like something beautiful and something ugly. And I can appreciate that. It is annoying to me at times. I think Whitey can be a little bit grating to listen to, and I don't like how mean spirited the town is. But ultimately, I appreciate a lot about the movie. Again, it looks great, and I like the songs to an extent. Listening to Whitey sing is not my favorite, but there's also something I don't know. There's also something to it. Like I fucking quote technical foul all the time, and in fucking videos even. Um, and then stuff like the God, if you like, I think technical foul is actually a catchy song. It's just you have to listen to Whitey sing it. But then I think the song that they sing when they're like Davy and the love interest are both driving home is like it sounds nice. It's written nicely. They do throw in a lot of jokes that to some people might ruin the song because it's like a more sentimental song, but then you have Whitey chiming in, but then it also cuts to other people chiming in. But honestly, some of those parts make me laugh. I like Eight Crazy Nights, and I get where it stands as a bad movie, and there are things about it I don't like. I do not like the gross out humor in the movie. It's genuinely hard to look at points. But I do like it. I hope fucking we've got two dogs now, and there's just like without getting up and like trying to make her calm down, which will only work for like 2 minutes. There's just nothing I can do about that. I hope it's not too fucking annoying. I hope she fucking stops soon. Love on a Leash is so bad it's good, funny. It's number 14. Ralph the Movie Maker made a good video on that a long time ago. I enjoy his video on it. It's silly. Like I said, I gotta speed through some of these. Kirk Cameron, Saving Christmas, very bizarre. It's number 15. Very bizarre movie. Feels like very defensive towards a group of people he probably didn't need to be defensive towards. Essentially, it's like actually because like you hear like when I hear of like a Christian Christmas movie, I'm imagining something that's like keep Christ in Christmas, but it's actually more so no, keep Santa in Christmas. It's okay to be Christian and still like the fun side of the holiday. That's what the whole movie is. It's like so weirdly defensive about that. But it's kind of entertaining. It's kind of funny. And I mean I it's like the thing is like I kind of agree. I kind of agree. You're allowed to have fun around the holidays. You don't need to feel guilty about that. But at the same time, like Kirk, were there really that many people in your life that were doing that to you? That feels like such a first world problem. But it leads into a weird kind of over the top movie at points. The biggest point I have against it is just the dance scene at the end of it goes on way too long, and no one's like a competent enough dancer for it to be really all that like interesting to watch. But I don't think anyone's even. I wouldn't even go as far as to say anyone's so incompetent that it's fun to watch. It's just kind of like, no, this is just going on too long. It's because the fucking runtime wasn't long enough that you have this in there. But the rest of the movie is kind of entertaining. Number 16 is Xanadu. It's a fun musical. I enjoyed it. I'd go as far as to say I recommend it. It's actually one of the few Hollow Victory movies I was able to talk about with my mother because she really liked this when it came out. It's corny, it's over the top, it's sappy. It belongs on Hall of Victories, but honest to God, it's another one that I would say, like, in terms of what it's trying to accomplish, I don't even think it's a bad movie. Batman Forever, same thing with Batman and Robin, just really over the top, silly, campy fun, some good set design. Still, I like in comparison to the first two Batman movies, like the Tim Burton ones, bad movie, but and not even as entertaining as Batman and Robin. But it's kind of fun to watch. That's a lot of these. Looney Tunes back in action, almost a good Looney Tunes movie. I think there's a few things holding it back from being a sincerely good Looney Tunes movie, but it has some good jokes in there. It has some fun ideas. It's definitely more true to the Looney Tunes than Space Jam is, but it also because it feels like it's doing an underwhelming version of Looney Tunes. And it doesn't have like like something really special that helps it stand out like Space Jam did. I think that it ended up falling kind of flat. Even though, again, not a terrible movie. Number 19 is John Carter. Honest to God, I just remember being entertained by the movie. I remember being impressed by some of the set designs and effects. And I understood why it didn't become the franchise that it wanted to be. But I just remember thinking to myself, like, this is a completely fine sci-fi adventure movie. It's completely serviceable. And I still feel that way to this day. It's not bad. It's not great. Hall of Victories might be a little harsh for it, but it's definitely not great. Number 20 is Supergirl. The two villains are the funniest part of it. A lot of this one was kind of forgettable, but it's it's kind of acceptable for the time for the most part. It's just I don't remember this one too well. Probably number 20 is a little too high up for that. But I remember getting some laughs out of it. I remember enjoying aspects of it. Ghost Rider is number 21. Sure. It's another one I'm not remembering that well. Kind of wondering why. It's probably this high up because I enjoyed it when I watched it. It's probably like, it's stupid, just like number 22, which is Cool as Ice. Stupid. Stupid movie, but it's fun to make fun of. We're going to get a lot of those now. Like I said, top 20 are really the most important ones, and top 20 and bottom 20. Waterworld, number 23 is Mars Needs Moms. I think the movie does a couple things genuinely right. The motion capture animation has been talked about nonstop. But there's characters and sets and ideas in this movie that I do think work. It's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be based on how much people built it up as a bad animated film. But it definitely doesn't work as a whole. Still, I actually think that there's kind of something to it. I think maybe people were a little too hard on this one, but not in a way where I would say it's like criminally overhated, like it doesn't feel like it deserves a lot of praise either. I just felt like, I kind of like this character that the kid meets, who's like just this guy who's been stuck up there, like stuck in space since he was a kid. I kind of like some of the sets. I kind of like the climax. I think there is a little bit of a heart to the movie, with what it's just saying about, motherhood and all of that. But not a great movie, especially. Waterworld, very impressed by how they made the movie. And I think that there's even like a joke or two that works. It's not a comedy, but it has a sense of humor, and some of the jokes work. I'm very impressed by the set design in this movie. I do not like the characters. It's got something going for it, but I think the characters really bring it down and actually make it a kind of boring movie to watch. Number 25 is A Talking Cat. Really, really stupid and funny movie. It's like an exceptionally poorly made one. Like, it's like when we're talking about like poorly made, I think it got paired up with Love on a Leash, and those are two of the like most poorly made movies on this entire list. But the reason they make it so high up on the list is because they're funny. They're entertaining to watch. When we get to the bottom, it's like it becomes a real drag. Number 26 is the Halloween remake. I mean, honest to God, I think it has some interesting ideas. I know people really hate this one. I don't think I hated it nearly as much as a lot of people did. How despicable and terrible they make the family at the beginning is a bit much, for sure. But there were some side characters that I enjoyed. I thought a lot of the scenes taking place in the hospital are interesting. I felt genuine remorse for Danny Trejo's character as like the one person who was good to Michael while he was there, but he still ends up getting killed. Maybe someone would say he still deserves it because he's working at a place that has like this that has kids in it. But at the same time, I think it just like that scene where he attacks Danny Trejo's character and he's like crying and begging, saying, "Michael, I was good to you," really does a good job painting just how much of a sociopath they're making Michael Myers in this movie. I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, but I certainly think it belongs on Hall of Victories. Number 27 is Catwoman. Again, first episode. It's dumb, fun, bad, but kind of funny. Number 28 is The Wizard. same as Catwoman. They're the fucking villain with the what's that glove called? The Nintendo glove again. I always forget the Power Glove. That's kind of funny to me. Just pure like '90s. Is it? Is this movie? Yeah, no, it is '90s. Just like pure fucking '90s flick. It's okay. I don't watch the episodes if you want more detail on these. It's number 28. Number 29, Rocky 4. Um, kind of a fun Rocky movie. It's a little silly with the robot, and the fight scene at the end isn't like presented nearly as well as it is in the first movie, where they really like let you watch the fight happen in real time at some points. Like, yeah, they're cutting the camera still. They're not filming a real boxing match in the first movie, but it's more convincing as a real boxing match in the first movie because they let, shots play out. Where in Rocky 4, it's like close up, cut away, cut to this, cut to this, cut to this. Whoa. It's too much. And there's so many fucking montages in it. It feels like the movie comes to a halt way too frequently. But I like Hearts on Fire. I think the song is good. And, it's still a Rocky movie. Still, like, relatively entertaining to watch. Number 30 is the movie that got paired up with it, Rambo First Blood Part 2. I don't, because this movie is what Rambo's really known for. Not the first one's actually like pretty far off of, like, if you've never seen a Rambo movie before, Rambo 2, the second one, the First Blood Part 2, that's the movie that you would recognize. The first one's very different. I think the first one is like brilliant. I love that movie. And I think this one kind of sells it out to become a franchise, So I don't respect this movie, but it's not that to say it's like poorly made, and it's clearly the one that had a bigger impact on people. I just don't think that's a good thing. But I mean, with the competition in the show, it still makes up pretty high. But I don't really appreciate what First Blood Part 2 did, even though I don't think it's like one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's not a good trade-off for what that first movie did, because the first movie had something to say. The first movie said its piece really well. Number 31 is Tom and Jerry the movie. It's kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I think it's like funny. It's bad. It's horrible, but I think it's funny how derailed it gets. I've never seen a movie get derailed quite like the Tom and Jerry movie, where they're on the poster, it's in the title, it's supposed to be a film adaptation of the Tom and Jerry shorts, and they just completely fuck off for 90% of the movie. It is way more focused on this little girl trying to find her dad, and it's like, why did you make a Tom and Jerry movie then? That makes it entertaining to me. Even though for most people that's going to make it infuriating for them. Yeah, no, I enjoy it for that. I enjoy it kind of as like a troll movie, as like, it's fun to pretend it's great, It's fun to pretend that I love it. Even though it is really bad. It's not good. Friends Till the End is kind of a catchy song. I've actually heard some people cover it, and I think it's kind of a wholesome song. I like it. I like it more when it's not being sung by Tom and Jerry. But I do actually like that song. Double Impact is 32, and Double Team is 33. This was an interesting pair-up, and I kind of forget these two a lot. Like, these are not two that stuck with me that well, but I remember them being kind of dumb fun, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't be this high. If you want my thoughts, watch the episode, because I don't remember them that well, if I'm being honest. Number 34 was Fantastic Four, the 2005 one. This is the one that we did for the 4th year anniversary, so I just talked about these movies a ton. I think it's almost a good movie. I think The Thing and Human Torch are actually like legitimately interesting and entertaining characters in this. I think Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic are not really that good in this, although Mr. Fantastic has some potential. I think the actor is right for him, and he's a lot better in this one than he is in the second one. But their relationship is just so fucking nothing. It's what a majority of their scenes focus on, and it's like really hammering in the same points over and over again. And I think it's genuinely bad. I think it's genuinely really bad. But everything with the Thing's story is like really sad in this. Like, I've seen people bring this scene up, but like the scene of him trying to pick up the wedding ring is genuinely sad, and I think it's funny just how much of a dick they're willing to make the Human Torch in this movie. And I think but I think that actually makes it all the more stronger when the two, like the Thing and the Human Torch, are kind of able to work together at the end after all of that. So yeah, I mean, I almost think Fantastic Four is a good movie, but there's just some things that hold it back, and they hold it back pretty strongly. But there's some jokes that work in the movie. There's some scenes that work in the movie. There's some characters and performances that work in the movie. It just doesn't. I don't think it comes together as like a full piece really well. Oh, Striptease is number 35, and it's a kind of bad movie up until the final act. The final act is like really entertaining. It's not that bad up until that final act. It's just like kind of average, but the final act is like it gets sillier. It kind of feels like they were making this movie and they hit a point where they just wanted to make it funnier because they like it's almost like they realized they made a bad movie and they were like, "Oh, let's give this a good wrap up at the least," because the end and the final act is like much more entertaining than the rest of the film. Like, I would almost recommend it just so you can see what I'm talking about. Um, because it starts. You look at that poster and it starts exactly like you think it's gonna start. It is like the exact type of movie you think it's gonna be, and then it just gets really quirky. It just gets really quirky as it goes on. Oh, Barb Wire. Um, God, it's like fucking to an extent a remake of Casablanca, and I don't know. It's kind of a really boring one for me, but I love the character Big Fatso. Big Fatso is in the top 10 best Hollow Victories characters. Maybe that can be a Spiny Rambles one day. The top 10 best and top 10 worst Hollow Victory characters. Big Fatso is in that top 10. He might even be in the top 5. Big Fatso is legendary. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's like the thing is, it's actually like a well directed and well shot movie. It's doing a lot right, but I don't like the characters, and I think it's boring. And it's like a really, 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 really bad version of Casablanca. But I mean, there's like some competent filmmaking there, which is more than you can say about a lot of Hollow Victory movies. Sheena, I remember is number 37. I remember being impressed by a lot of the animal work in that movie. They're filming with a lot of animals, and they do some scenes with them that were pretty interesting and entertaining to watch. So it got a lot of credit for that. It's not. I don't remember the character Sheena that well. I don't remember a lot of the plot beats that well. I just remember there actually being some fun to be had with this movie, mainly with just again they had animals that were clearly well trained for the movie, and they did stuff with. Yeah, that can be fun to watch sometimes. Watching a bunch of animals break into a camp and trying to free someone. Number 38 is Left Behind. We paired two of the Left Behind movies together. A lot of it's left my memory, but I remember being it was kind of a fun movie to kind of like riff on with a friend, which a lot of Hollow Victory movies are. The Thing remake, number 39. It's a pretty well shot movie at the very least, but it's a very underwhelming version of what is a great movie. Yeah, not very good at all. But I guess when I watched it, I was at least impressed enough by how it was made for it to get this high. But like 39th place on a list of bad movies, that's not good. Like let's be clear. We're getting towards that middle now. At number 40 we have I don't even know how to pronounce the title of this movie, but it's essentially Turkish Star Wars, and it is a fucking mess that is hilarious to watch, just like number 41, which is Three Giant Men, which it was the movie I got. A lot of these movies end up like being entertaining on an equal level, and then they get paired right next to each other. That's happened a couple of times so far. And yes, Three Giant Men is another one where where it's just like it's like such a weird bootleg movie because it's pulling from a bunch of different franchises. It's like Captain America and Spider-Man are in it, but I think Spider-Man's a fucking villain if I'm remembering it correctly. It's just bizarre, and it's like picking and choosing what it wants to take like characters from. It loops like I think it was this one. Maybe it was Turkish Star Wars that did this, but one of them would loop the first few seconds of like the Indiana Jones themes and then cut it off and then loop it again. Like it was so bizarre. It's these two movies are both so bizarre in how they were made, where they're trying to be knockoffs of, you know, these big American pictures or at least characters. And And they end up being more entertaining than a lot of them. You know what? Turkish Star Wars, best Star Wars movie. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm sorry. But Turkish Star Wars, I'll take over regular Star Wars. There's some problematic shit in Turkish Star Wars, actually, looking back at it. So there's your warning with that one. It's not a wholesome, so bad it's good, but it's not. It's not the whole thing. It's just parts of it. It's not like frequent, but yeah, I remember there being some bad depictions in that movie. Number 42, Dracula Untold. Probably the Hall of Victories movie that we've covered that I could say the least about. I think maybe there was some cool effects in it, and that's why it's up this high. I do not remember it. Number 43, Superman 4. Barely remember this one, too. I think this one's kind of supposed to be like kind of a so bad it's good fun movie, but don't remember it too well. Spice World. It's fine, I guess. It's not very good, but it's also like just kind of a campy band movie. I think they're kind of missing some of the Spice. I remember watching it, and me and Matt both agreeing there were like some pretty major Spice Girl songs that weren't in it that probably should have been. The movie kind of feels like a sketch comedy film, and some of the ideas that they have are a little amusing. I could see someone watching this movie and really liking. I could see there being people who grew up with this one that really liked it, and I can't call it like the worst of the worst for that. Ben and Arthur, this is like, I was just mainly, I got some laughs from it, but movie is like held in like such a high regard by some people as like one of the great so bad it's good movies, and I just didn't get that experience from it because like with the way it was talked about, I would have imagined this one making it to the top 10, you know, like just like Macamee and Book of Henry. I got those moments. I had moments where I found it very funny and entertaining, but it wasn't as much as I was hoping for. Number 46 is Can't Stop the Music. I think that one got paired with Xanadu. I don't remember it that well, but some of their songs, some of their music is fun to listen to, so some of the scenes were also fun to watch. Godfather Part 3, oh gosh, I feel like there's almost ideas and performances in this movie that could work, but it's not executed well. The climax goes on way too fucking long. The ending is super underwhelming. The movie is weirdly okay with incest. It is just altogether a very, very bad follow-up to what is two amazing movies. Steel, kind of dumb fun, superhero comic book flick. So, you know, it was fun to watch with friends and make fun of. Jungle Cruise, average, painfully average Disney movie. Competently made, well enough, but still kind of boring. Number 50, we're at the halfway point now, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. It was an interesting episode to do because we had someone on who actually, as a guest, who actually got to speak to the author of the books, and this person did not like this movie. It was one of Matt's friends, so I enjoy that episode for that aspect. But having to watch Percy Jackson was kind of boring. I don't have exposure to the books. I only have exposure to that one movie. I think it got a sequel that I have not seen, and I'd really like it if I don't see. But who knows what Matt will do to me. Number 51 is the RoboCop remake, and it's also right next to the one that it got paired up with again. Like I said, this happens a lot. 52, Total Recall. Love RoboCop, really love Total Recall. Like, I mean, I think Total Recall is an outstanding movie. But I like RoboCop a lot too. These are both very bland remakes. RoboCop, I think, has maybe one or two ideas more interesting than Total Recall has. 53 is Superman 3, which honestly probably should be ranked higher than Superman 4. I don't know, because I remember Superman 3, because I thought, like, the thing that kind of intrigued me about that one is I just thought it was, like, weird how little it focused on Superman at points and how much it focused on, like, this weird antagonist character who's, like, kind of an antagonist and not at the same time. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. I just thought Superman 3 had really bizarre priorities, so it was kind of interesting for that. Battle Beyond the Stars, not nearly as good as the movie it was paired up with, we talked about earlier. Just kind of a cheap sci-fi movie. I guess there's some interesting ideas in it, but honest to God, a lot of it has left my head. Canadian Bacon, number 55, Michael Moore's comedy film. Michael Moore normally does documentaries. He probably should stick to that. Number 56, Jonah Hex. My dad likes this movie. I know at least one person who likes it. Just kind of a boring Western movie. I don't think it's like really that interesting or exceptionally well made. Kind of like the definition of painfully average. Number 57, we have the Mummy remake. The Mummy, or I don't even know if it's really it's not really a remake. It was supposed to start the Dark Universe, and when it's not trying to set up the Dark Universe, it's a little better, but it's still not great. When it's trying to set up the Dark Universe, it's like a completely different movie, and it's bizarre that they're doing that, and it didn't work out. What a shock when you only have the desire to make a fucking cinematic universe with no interest in the individual films being put into that universe. It's not gonna go well. Who could have fucking figured? Star Wars Episode 1 is number 58. It's fucking boring. Some cool aspects in there, like Darth Maul. I know people who like the prequels. That's fine. I don't like Star Wars altogether. And I wasn't always so cynical towards the series. I definitely can appreciate things about it. But, just watching how things play out with it. My God, like, people can feel free to feel how they feel about things, but God, I watch any Star Wars movie and I get almost the same experience every time. I'm just not into them, I guess. Number 59 is the Fantastic Four, the 94 one, because we did 4 Fantastic Four movies for the 4th anniversary. Because there's 4 bad Fantastic Four movies. It's got charm, honestly, it's got charm. It feels a little harsh to have it below so many of these. But I just found it boring. That was my issue. I wasn't entertained by it. But I mean, I think that it's the one that got the Doom costume the best. The Thing costume's surprisingly good for the time. I don't know, though. Just a lot of it didn't do it for me. Number 60 is Shrek the Third. Really bad entry in the Shrek franchise that has one good scene in it that a lot of people compliment, which is the campfire scene. And I do really like that. I like a little bit of the score. I like some of the song choices. But as a whole, it's a pretty bad, pretty bad film. Unfortunately, too. But Shrek 4, I actually like. And I never watched Puss in Boots, but I watched Puss in Boots The Last Wish, which was pretty damn good. Number 61, Aragon. Boring, didn't like it. Number 62, Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Why? What? Just why? Why is that the direction you went? Why are we opening the movie with a fucking UFO? Why are we opening the movie with a fucking explosion that he survives by being in a fucking refrigerator? Go fuck yourself. Number 63, Southland Tales. There's some scenes in the movie. This movie has like such a reputation. I'm glad I watched it, but it was kind of a pain to get through. But there's actually some scenes in this movie I like, but they're just completely washed out by shit. But it was a good movie to watch at least once. Number 64, The Haunted Mansion. Which one? Because we did 2 Haunted Mansions, and they weren't even paired up. Okay, this is the Eddie Murphy one. That makes sense. I really loved it as a kid. On a revisit, I appreciate how dark it's willing to get. Maybe this one should be a little higher up, actually. 64 seems kind of low for it. There's things about it that I like. It's just very obvious where things are going the entire time, and it's not as funny as it wants to be. But as a kid, I thought it was funny, so you know, it's not a complete waste. Number 65 is Lightyear, which got paired with a Pixar movie that is very fucking low on this list. Not even like really official like studio Pixar film. It was kind of done by another studio. Maybe that's a good hint right there. You know, when it's trying to be Interstellar, I actually kind of enjoy the tone a little bit, but it's just bizarre that it's like a Buzz Lightyear movie. I like seeing him try the mission over and over, and the consequences for failing the mission keep taking over, and then like you also see a change of leadership and power as time is passing. I think there's like an interesting idea there, but don't give it to the fucking Buzz Lightyear movie, and then when they're past that part, the rest of the movie is just fucking boring with nothing redeeming about it other than visually it looks nice. Number 66. That was not the movie that fucking Andy saw when he was a kid. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, Disney. Number 66 is The Country Bears. I think that's the one that got paired up with Haunted Mansion because we're doing like theme park movies. And then Jungle Cruise got paired up with the other Haunted Mansion, which we haven't made it to yet. It's not good, as you can tell. Yeah, the Country Bears has got some. It's like weirdly got. I think Country Bears should go up a little higher. It's got some funny stuff with Christopher Walken in it, and it's got some fun music in there. I actually think maybe I'm being a little too hard on this one, but yeah, I think Haunted Mansion and the Country Bears probably belong a little higher up on this. Like I think they're more entertaining than the fucking RoboCop and uh, Total Recall. Jeez, I almost wanted to call it Fallout, and I was like, that's not fucking right. Why are you doing that? Number 67, the Fred movie. Terrible, terrible fucking film, but at the same time, kind of adapts Fred appropriately. It actually adds more layers to it than it probably deserves from the YouTube shorts. So I mean, I can't really. This is another one I've heard people defend it. I've heard people say they like it, and it's like, yeah, if you liked the YouTube videos, why wouldn't you like this? So it gets this high up for adapting the source material properly. But no, I don't personally enjoy listening to Fred speak. Number 68 is Ralph Breaks the Internet. This one might even deserve to be lower. I fucking hate Ralph Breaks the Internet. I think the thing with me though is like there's things about it I like Bill Hader has like plays the shady character and he makes me laugh. There's some okay visuals to the film. Sonic the Hedgehog is in it. But yeah, not an especially good movie, but it kind of has the reputation it deserves. People fucking hated this one. Do not enjoy being lectured by Disney with the princess scenes when they're the like main instigators of a lot of the problems in the film industry in terms of bad depictions. Do not appreciate the fucking lecture, Disney. Number 69, we have Felix the Cat, the movie. I fucking hate this movie. Like, a lot. And I give it this much props because I put it up this high because at time, like, I think the animation is, like, nice throughout a lot of it. I think there's interesting ideas in it. But it all comes together in this, like, obnoxious movie that I actually get frustrated watching. With how, like, weird and constantly in your face it is about it. And how fucking structureless it is, and like I can imagine some people watching and saying, "Well, visually it's kind of fun to watch, so I like it," and that's fine. Don't let me take that away from you. I really hate Felix the Cat. Like I actually think I hate it more than some of the stuff I put below it. But I just there's at the same time there are things about it that I respect that some of the things below it I don't respect. I can at least say there's someone who picked up a pencil and drew a good drawing in Felix the Cat the movie, so it gets some props there. But I dislike this one a lot. Like I don't know if I really like said it as much as I feel it in that episode. Uh, I really don't like this one. I think it's like up there as one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. And I think some people are going to hear that and think that's harsh, and that's that's fine. Number 770 is Spawn. Boring, didn't like it. Terrible CG. Number 71 is Fan Four Stick. I almost think there is an interesting idea or two in there. The development for that production for that movie was a fucking nightmare. I feel bad for how many people got screwed over in the making of that. Not Josh Trank. He kind of shot himself in the foot. Doesn't I'm not surprised he doesn't have much of a career after that. And but I mean at the same time, like I think the body horror element of it is at least like an interesting way to go. Maybe better for a parody or different take on the Fantastic Four, not an actual Fantastic Four movie. I don't think the acting's that bad in it, but I also just don't think the characters or dialogue is that are that good. But there's ideas I like. How um I like how Mr. Fantastic and Ben's friendship is kind of painted in this movie with them meeting as kids and Ben's personality. And I think there's like ideas that could potentially lead into a good movie, but pacing's really bad too. Pacing's really bad. It takes forever for them to actually get started with the powers, and then when they do, it's like already over. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, very cynical movie. I'm not against. I think I'm obviously not against taking something that's child friendly and doing something fucked up with it. One of my most popular videos on this channel is a video going into great detail about a show that did that with Sonic for Hire, but obviously not in a horror angle. But Sonic murders people in that show, so I'm not against something like this. It's just It feels very rushed and poorly made. It felt like, oh, Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain, so we're immediately going to make a movie about it. Bad movie. Maybe there's a shot or two that worked. The opening is a little. I actually the opening scene I kind of liked a little bit, but the rest of it fucking sucks. And it's not like it's a great opening. It's just kind of interesting with like the storybook pages, kind of trying to match that Winnie the Pooh aesthetic a little bit, just towards the beginning. Again, not that well. Someone could have done a better job with that. They rushed to this. I don't think they gave a shit about it. Heard the sequel's better. Don't really want to watch it, but maybe Matt will make me one day. Number 73, Dragon Ball Evolution. Kind of a hilariously bad movie, but it's like it's bad. Like even with it being funny bad. One, I don't think it's funny bad throughout, and two, it's still like one of the worst things I think I've ever seen made. Number 74, Hubie Halloween. Bad Adam Sandler comedy, but maybe inoffensive enough to deserve to be a little higher up. Like, now that I'm looking at it, I think it probably should at least be above Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. But I think overall it just made it that low because of how much it bored me. Number 75, the Logan Paul's The Thinnin'. There's like an idea or two in the movie that works. There's some scenes, like there's a scene or two that's like genuinely sad that could potentially work in a better movie. Almost has a Fallout feel to it at points, but no, overall, very, very much not a good film. Number 76, That's My Boy. The thing that's sad about this one is there's jokes in it that land. There's some funny stuff in it, but it just has like one of the worst plots I've ever seen for a movie, period. Number 77 is The Haunted Mansion, the remake. Yeah, did not care for that movie. Did not care for it at all. Number 78, Space Jam: A New Legacy. This one might deserve to be even lower. Yeah, I think it does. I think I put this one up too high. This is a fucking terrible movie. This is like a really fucking cynical piece of shit. I'm not convinced there was a single person who gave a shit involved in this. The CG models look fucking terrible for the characters. The 2D animation isn't that well done either. And it's like one of the biggest property fests of all time. Ralph Breaks the Internet was also guilty of that, which I'm pretty sure this one was paired with, but it's not nearly as guilty as Space Jam: A New Legacy in that regard, which is bad because it's super guilty of that. 79, Marmaduke, one of the first movies we ever covered on the show. Kind of a running bit that Marmaduke is like the best movie of all time. In actuality, it's a very boring movie. And then the final scene is kind of catches me off guard enough to where I think it's funny. Number 80, Fantastic Four. Rise of the Silver Surfer. Yeah, I don't know. I think putting this below Fan 4 Stick is going to get some people to disagree with me, but ultimately I just felt like this one had so little going for it. And I was bored during a majority of the runtime. And yeah, I think this is the worst one. I understand saying Fan 4 Stick is worse, but for me, I feel like this is just like the most nothing Fantastic Four movie of them all. I don't think there's really a lot of redeeming qualities to it at all. Alright, we're at the bottom 20 now. My voice is so tired, can you not tell? Why can't I talk for a fucking hour? Like, I normally have a guest, and that just helps, because, like, my fucking my voice can take a break. Garfield is at number 81. Yeah, not an especially good movie. Garfield looks fucking hideous in this movie. It's one of the worst live-action hybrids I've ever seen. 82 is The Mean One, which is kind of a bummer because I actually think this one has an interesting idea with what it's like doing, because it is doing like kids character but fucked up horror, but it takes an interesting approach because it's not so much the Grinch as it is the live action Grinch, which, yeah, the live action Grinch is kind of creepy. The live action Grinch, you know, it was like, it feels like this is, it feels like how kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's is doing something like, you know, really talking about how scary animatronics were to some kids. This movie's kind of taken the approach of how scary the cartoon live-action hybrid is to some kids. Because like the Grinch and the Who's in that movie look genuinely creepy. Unfortunately, you have one of the most poorly made films I've ever seen in my life. Like, it is not well done. Except for the makeup on the Grinch. That's the other sad part. Like, they made a design for that character that looked close to the film, the Jim Carrey Grinch design, but also had like a creepier face to it. Like I think the costume on the Grinch is actually really good in the movie, and then everything else sucks. 83, The Hot Chick. It's a Rob Schneider comedy. I don't even know if I need to elaborate more. There is one that I think is worse than it. 84, the Care Bears movie. It is perfectly fine as a product movie for kids. It is so inoffensive. It is so cruel to put it so low on the list, but it's just, I wasn't going to get anything from the fucking Care Bears movie. It got paired up with My Little Pony, the movie, and I did think it was better than the My Little Pony movie because it had Nicholas, who's the greatest, and another top 10 Hall of Victories characters for sure, one of the greatest antagonists in film history. But they ultimately just kind of, yeah, I'm not having fun watching this. Matt made me watch a movie that was made for little kids. I guess if you're an adult who has fond memories of watching this when you were a kid, or you're just an adult who saw it for the first time and you liked it, don't let me take it away from you. That's perfectly fine. I'm never here to judge. But but at the same time, don't be surprised when I don't enjoy the Care Bears movie. I probably will not cover it for TV show movies because I already did it for Hall of Victories. 85. That's not true. I don't know, though, because I do plan on talking about the Fred movie eventually. I just don't want to talk about it. I don't ever want to watch this again. I don't know. Again, Nicholas is pretty great, so maybe Nicholas will get me back on that train. Maybe I can make some fun Nicholas jokes in that video, and that would make it worth it. This video's taken a lot out of me. I feel silly that it's taken. Like, this is such a fucking easy series to make. I turn on a microphone and talk. I don't do edits. I shouldn't be this fucking tired from doing this. I just took a fucking 2.5 hour long nap, but I'm just recycling through all of this fucking shit we've talked about over the last 4 years again. And I'm done. And I want to be done. Let's finish. Showgirls, some good shots. Very, very unlikable, despicable movie. Do not like it. Number 86, An American Carol. Sadly, a movie that had a joke or two that worked. It's a parody, like where it was paired up with Canadian Bacon, which was a parody movie that Michael Moore made, and this is a movie that's specifically making fun of Michael Moore, making him go through a Christmas Carol sort of story. I really can't get behind anything this movie is saying. I remember thinking that there were some jokes that were all right every once in a while. And I definitely think Michael Moore is someone that you can make fun of. I don't think he's off limits by any stretch of the imagination. But I just, as a whole, I just kind of remember being grossed out by a lot of what this film was saying. It's like one that, it's rare that a Hall of Victory movie is bad because I disagree with it on a personal level. But yeah, no, this is not a good one. 2025, A World Enslaved by a Virus. Fucking nothing. Fucking boring. Probably should be lower on this list because honestly it's above Smiley, and Smiley is at number 88 is a terrible, 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 terrible horror movie. But at least the Smiley design is actually not that bad. There is something kind of unsettling about like this flesh, this like ball of flesh with like an eye and mouth sewn into it. But the story and characters are fucking trash. 89, The Rhapsody Street Kids, Believe in Santa. It's just not. This movie got like so much web props. There were so many people like online making videos about it. They got a lot of street credit from that, but it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's that funny. The most interesting thing about it is some of the voice actors that actually agreed to be in it. Like fucking Mark Hamill does a voice in this. There's some people who do voices on The Simpsons involved in this. Like, it's pretty insane. And it looks like that, but it's also a relatively inoffensive movie. And it's also short, so again, maybe putting it down this low seems harsh, but yeah, I didn't find it that funny, and it looks like shit. So, hey, there you go. But the thing is, I like some stuff that looks bad. Sometimes I think, like, I'm a fucking huge fan of I fucking love Rat Boy Genius and Little King John, those series. And those are, like, on YouTube. And those have, like, maybe even worse animation than this movie has. But they have so much fucking charm. They have, like, objectively good qualities, too, like the music. This movie is missing the one thing that could make me like it despite how it looks. Because I like stuff that doesn't look good. I like plenty of things that don't look. I'm a fucking South Park fan. South Park definitely looks better than this or Rat Boy Genius, but I like stuff that looks crude. Number 90, The Christmas Tree. A little worse than Rhapsody Street Kids. It's another side by side with the one it was paired with. Yeah, not very good. Some funny reviews of it online, though. I've seen some funny reviews from Nostalgia Critic and Phaelus. Left Behind 91, the Nicolas Cage one. I put that one way below the other Left Behind because while neither of them are great, the Nick Cage one keeps most of it on a plane and it gets really boring really fast. I cannot begin to express how much a lot of the ones in this bottom 10 are here because they really, really bored the shit out of me. At number 92, we have My Little Pony, the movie. Yeah, it's same thing with the Care Bears one. There's some good animation in it. I'm sure there's some kids who really grew up loving this movie and some people who still appreciate it to this day for that very fact. There is some objective quality in there. Like, it's not animated poorly, really, but I'm not the target demographic for this. I'm glad we had Mitzi on for that episode because Mitzi cares about these a little bit more. So it was good to have, like, the perspective of someone who cared about them in the episode we did. But yeah, it's, again, feels a little harsh to rank them so low, but it's a personal ranking, not a objective ranking. And objectively, the My Little Pony and Care Bears movies at least did what they followed the assignment and they followed it well. So you can't be too mad at them for it. I'm just not someone who should be talking about them. 93 is Dirty Grandpa, got paired with That's My Boy. That's My Boy has a worse story than Dirty Grandpa, but it's at least managed to get some jokes in there that work. Dirty Grandpa, very few. I was mainly annoyed by this one. It wasn't very good. 94, Extraterrestrial Visitors. I think they got paired with Macamee, and what a fucking sin that is in comparison, because Macamee is one of the funniest fucking things we ever covered on the show, and this was one of the most boring things we ever covered on the show. I couldn't stand watching this. I never want to watch this again. Oh my God, I fucking fell. I felt like I could barely keep my fucking eyes open watching this one. What a fucking piece of shit. 95, Tarzan the Ape Man. Same thing. Horrible, boring, god-awful. 96, The Animal. Rob Schneider comedy. It's worse than The Hot Chick. I mean, I think The Hot Chick, I remember at least maybe, I don't know, I think maybe it had a little bit more heart than this. Maybe had a joke or two that worked a little better. At the end of the day, it's a Rob Schneider comedy against a fucking Rob Schneider comedy. Who gives a shit? 97, Joysticks, was in second to last for a long time. I think it's a very unfunny movie. I don't like any of the characters. The most interesting thing about it is the games they showed off at that point in time. It was paired up with the Wizard, and there was no competition. There was no competition at all. Joysticks sucks. Smosh the movie is number 98. I watched this when it got released because I was excited for the Smosh movie. It doesn't reflect the web show at all. It has some of the worst editing decisions I've ever seen in a movie. Its priorities are fucking nonsense. Anyone who is a fan of Ian and Anthony's sense of humor, like, even if you think it's, like, really childish and you either never liked it or you can't believe you used to like it, it's not present here. It's really not present here. They're very dull and boring in this movie. The only joke that I thought worked in this movie was one that played in the trailer. And then in the actual movie, it wasn't timed as well, so it wasn't funny. Horrible. Bottom of the barrel. If I ever cover the show on TV show movies, it will be ranked lower than the Drawn Together movie. This one could surpass the worst. Or I guess the opposite of surpass. Number 99, Planes, nothing. It is fucking nothing. It doesn't even fucking make sense. The main character has a fear of fucking heights, and that's his dilemma. But he's already fucking high in the sky at the start of the movie. He's like afraid of being slightly higher. What the fuck does that mean? What a fucking awful idea. What a boring, nothing, meaningless experience. This one's the most nothing. The Last Place is a worse movie than this, I'd argue, but there is nothing as Planes. What a fucking meaningless experience. No, don't show this to your kid. Because here's the thing, like a lot of the times it's like, oh, like My Little Pony and Care Bears. It's like, of course I don't like them, but they're perfectly inoffensive kids movies. If your kid wants to watch it, you can show them those. That's fine. They at the very least are going to get to see some quality animation. They're going to get to see some hard work that paid off. Planes, no, I wouldn't recommend this to your. Actually, I think it's kind of fucking weird in some scene. They have like a fucking war flashback scene that might freak them out. And I'm all for traumatizing your kids with old animated movies, but at least make sure the movie's substantive. I watched fucking Littlefoot's mom and Mufasa die as a kid. You gotta have a little bit of that. I saw the big fucking scary tunnel scene in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or is it Willy Wonka's Chocolate? It's weird. Although I get those two mixed up. The old one, the old Chocolate Factory movie. I saw that shit when I was a kid. I had like I got fucking scared watching stuff, but Planes isn't worth that experience. No, don't show your kid Planes. No, it's like it's so fucking nothing, and it deserves to be forgotten. And then in Dead Last, number 100, pretty famous bad movie, but it is the last Airbender. And here's the thing: I actually respect Shyamalan. He's made some stuff that I really like. I love The Sixth Sense. I love Unbreakable. I even really like Split. It's one of his more modern ones, but I think it did a pretty good job of continuing what Unbreakable did, but also doing its own thing. Glass is another story, but hey, you know what? I appreciate a lot of his work, and even his newer films, some of which I haven't seen yet, and I might actually want to check out. But even if I watch them and don't end up liking them, I can at least say he has always been a director who seems like he is doing exactly what he wants to do. And The Last Airbender did not seem like something he wanted to do. So I respect the man. I don't respect this movie, even in the slightest. And I think what ultimately puts it in dead last is that quite literally the blueprint for a great movie was there. And I understand it's hard to take a 20 episode season and narrow it down into a movie, but God, it's got to be more doable than the way he did it. I almost feel like the episodes and scenes he picked weren't even that bad. It's just every single one of them were executed so poorly. And again, the blueprint is there, and he couldn't even get the characters' names right. So what else is there to say?